Okay, everyone, here we are. It's day 4, and we're gonna see what this thing is doing. I talked yesterday about just kind of treating the cane, and I can still see that there's some work to do on the surface. Some of this stuff is just visual. I can see the grain kind of puffing up just a little bit. You can kind of feel it across the top. So my goal will be not only to make the necessary adjustments. This reed was a bit weak, but also to again kind of work the surface of the cane. I'm gonna play a few notes. Hope that we're not too weak here. I do a couple different tests. You heard me doing the E, I call it the E test, just to see if the reed's sagging or where in that spectrum of weakness the reed is. I'm checking the length of the reed. I'm not sure you can see this. And we're about 28 now, so it'd be better not to go any shorter. Still feels a little weak, so I'm gonna be very careful in the work that I do. And then I'm gonna see if I can get any more strength by kind of rounding the wires. The very front third is the area of the reed that I have to keep going back after. And I'm gonna get a little bit more response from making the very tip, blend right to the end of the reed. But also this grain that kind of expands or like a sponge when you soak this thing up. The grain puffs up just a bit, and so by putting it back and making sure that these tapers are really happening all the way to the tip and from the center to the sides, the reed will collapse better and vibrate better. And again, I'm trying to be very, very light in my touch here. I'm also trying to cover all of the reed because I want the surface of the reed, even though there's a taper there, I want the surface of the reed to be smooth. And you saw me kind of touch all of the reed on this side. I think I did the other side pretty well also. Try to make that rail look just a little better, or the collar rather. Let's see here. Hopefully I'm keeping this in the camera. Okay. Okay, so when I was in school, Ben Kamens would say, "What does the crow tell you about the reed?" Nothing! he was not into that. That was, kind of a joke, but also he doesn't really believe that. But I think he can tell, actually. You can hear if the reed's a bit flat or weak. Of course, continuing to play on the reed is going to make it sharper, right? And we've found that to be true over these last 4 days. I'll try this thing again. And that's probably all the scraping I'm going to do on this reed for today anyway. I'm kind of playing it hard, even though for just a short amount of time, to see if I can get it to change back or strengthen just a little bit. scraping I'll do on this reed. Now, it's still a little bit weak. You can hear it in the C sharp, more so than in the E. Oddly, it's also a little bit resistant. Usually those things don't go together. I'm gonna see if I can make the tube just a little bit more round. So I'm rounding the second wire, which is gonna close the tip, and then I'm opening at the first wire. I'm gonna make sure these wires are really snug, just for a little bit more strength. I think having a little bit more structure in the tube is something I'm liking these days. And so anyway, we need to be very careful in this part of the reed. So this is the crucial point, right? And I've heard, that the E being a little bit too weak, saggy, means that this point is too thin, and the C sharp lives a little bit in front of that. But this reed is pretty good on the fourth day, and it'll continue to change. If I practice on it, it'll get sharper. And I probably won't. I'll probably just put it down. So it's a pretty good read so far. Again, that's the first 4 days. Okay.